Many people who struggle from mental health issues, they feel like they're sinking in quicksand. And it feels as if the world's pulling them underneath the surface of the earth. And there's no way out. They feel stuck. But the truth of the matter is we're not stuck. And that's what we want to just send your way now. You might feel stuck. It might feel like you're trapped in the quicksand. But in this course, what we want to do is we want to be able to get you out of the quicksand. We want to be able to get you on a flat surface again. Flat surface indeed. What's up, baby?
What's up? How are you?
I'm doing good. Well, we're excited to be able to jump on and just promote our mental health crash course a little bit. And the goal of our time together is really just to be able to kind of maybe address some questions that people might have, to stress why it is that we think it's important, and to be able to talk about maybe what you can expect if you go on this journey with us, if you invest the time in it.
Absolutely. We're so glad that you are with us. And Bobby and I've been telling people this is kind of our passion project because we're so insanely passionate about mental health, and not just mental health, but just, validating people and saying it's okay if you are struggling, because there's a lot of stigma out there. And I think we still have a long way to go, even though I think the tide is turning. I do feel like there is still a long way to go to help people not feel so, stigmatized if they are struggling, because Lord knows people are struggling.
Yeah, that's for sure. And sometimes people bring up this question, well, what's the deal with mental health? I mean, people don't have mental health issues. Come on. And I want to say, well, maybe you don't struggle personally with some deep mental health issues, or you're deceived that you do, but maybe you don't struggle with it, but you can't impose your experience to life on everybody else and think that nobody has mental health issues. So for example, here's a couple questions that you might find interesting, things that we've heard. It would be something like, well, what did they do back in Jesus' time with, these mental health issues, with things like anxiety, depression, worry? Well, number one, they suffered a lot more. We are really fortunate to have the medical advancement that we do. Remember, the brain is an organ. Your heart's an organ. Your lungs, your kidneys, your liver, these are organs. And in the same way that we're able to help the brain organism today, the brain organ today, we need to be thankful for that. Because in the past, if you had a heart attack in the first century, in Jesus' time, you died, right? If you had pancreatic cancer, you died for sure. I mean, there might be a small chance you'll live even today. But all that to say, people they would suffer more with a lot of stuff, because we are living in a time where we get to experience some of the assuagement, some of the fruit of medical advancement that can help our various organs, the brain being just one, that can help us with some of the medicine. So when people think, oh my goodness, well, there really wasn't anything around back then, so there shouldn't be anything around today, that's silly. Not only that, thank God for modern day science. We are mutating to death. Our kids have 100 more mutations than we have. I've said this many times. We had John Sanford on the 1 Minute Apologies. He's a Ivy League professor at Cornell, and he talked about how we're mutating to death. And so you have 100 more mutations than your parents. I have 1,500 more mutations than my parents, right? Not that it seems like it sometimes, right? I mean, we've got more mutations. So thankfully, God's allowed science to come along and be able to help us with some things. So there has been scientific advancement, and we don't have to. I mean, can you imagine you had a toothache back, in the ancient days? I mean, what are some of the things that medicinally or medically you could think of that we didn't have the medicinal help for?
Oh, goodness. I mean, all kinds of things, right? I mean, the thing about it is people in the Bible times suffered too. I mean, that's part of the
Of course.
human experience is suffering, but how do we suffer well? Because I don't know about you, but I've personally never met anyone that doesn't have issues. Have you?
No, I just read about the one who didn't have issues in the Bible. It's Jesus. The people that
Well,
drive me
yes.
most crazy are those who don't think they have issues and they just sit in their seat of judgment and think,
Yeah,
oh, people
no.
don't have. I'm like,
Well, the truth of the matter is everyone has
That's
issues.
right.
So if you're watching and you don't, then all that means is you're in denial.
that's exactly right.
Because we all have issues. It's just a matter of, when they surface. And I always say we all have, luggage. It's just how big is your luggage? Do you have a carry-on? Do you have a big honking suitcase? Do you have to check some, carry some?
We need a bellman, man, to get this show moving.
In the Conway home, there's lots of luggage and lots of
Yeah.
baggage. But that's one of the reasons we've created this course is for you guys to, take this and start addressing these things. And really, this course is designed for you personally. It's designed to help your kids. It's designed for the local church, because at the end of the day, like we just said, everyone has struggles. I mean, the statistics alone since March are so alarming. We know depression has quadrupled. Suicide rate is through the roof, especially with our young people. I think 11 to 17 are struggling the most with the suicide attempts or thinking about it nonstop. Anxiety is up, OCD is up. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And so the good news is there's hope. There's always hope in God, and there's hope in the gospel. And we've kind of tried to, in this course, put it all together, because at the end of the day, God and science are not in competition. All truth is God's truth. God created science. So that's what we've tried to do, is marry all of that in a holistic way, in an affordable way, in a practical way that you can use in whatever setting.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, the church unfortunately wants to just have this one size fits all solution. Well, there's a one size fits all solution to get to heaven. Believe on the Lord Jesus Christ and you will be saved. But then in this fallen, broken world, we are met with all kinds of obstacles and challenges, and we have different issues. And thankfully, there are different ways to get at dealing with some of our problems. Despite what many in the church will often want to rave about, every single issue in our life is not because we're actively involved in some sin. We have genetic issues. We're the product of traumas in our life, the product of the environment we grew up in, the books that we've read, our backgrounds. There's so much that goes into making a human being who they are. And so that's one of the problems why we struggle so much in our culture today is we do not know how to just validate. We don't know how to listen. We think that we know it all. We think we're all our own authorities behind the computer, saying our mean statements, canceling people out, writing people off. And we need to learn to listen, and we need to be open to things that are out there to help people. There's people who are really, really hurting right now.
Yeah.
And the church has been just abysmal at times, at large. There are churches with few and far between that are really getting it, and their eyes are opening. And I think many churches are open to the fact that there's stuff that we got to get our handle on as it relates to this mental health crisis that's taking place in our culture. But it's not going to be as easy of a solution as just sitting around and just telling everybody their only problem in life is their sin. Yes, people sin, people blow it, people commit transgressions. Please don't hear us saying that's not the case. We are building on the fact that we desperately need the gospel, that we're shot through with sin, that we need Jesus Christ as our Savior. But we're not going to be so myopic to say when we're treating people, when we're talking to people, when we're pastoring people, when we're trying to help people, that the only way to help them is just to confront the sin in their life. Because there are other issues, there are other incidences, there are other circumstances that come along our way and affect us and impact us and paralyze us emotionally and mentally.
Yeah, absolutely. And we want the church, the local church is the hope of the world. And we really want to help the local church with this course in, lowering that stigma so that when people are coming through the doors of a local church, they can feel like, oh, this is a safe place for me. This is a healing center. And Bobby always says, not a shaming center. The church should be a healing center. And that is one of our passions in creating this course, is for the local church, because a lot of pastors aren't equipped. They're not taught in seminary or in Bible college to even know how to deal with people. And because they're not counselors, they're not licensed therapists. But I still think there's a duty and a calling, if you're going to lead a church, to have that empathy and to put forth that effort to try to help people, so that they don't feel like they got to run to the world because we want them to run to the church. That's a passion of mine. And it's kind of like, we talk about this in the course, like, we're all like a new car illustration. You drive your new car off the lot, and you have shiny tires, you have that new car smell, everything's just...
I dig that new car smell.
Me too. I mean, it's time for a new car. But it's like, you feel good. Everything's humming and perfectly working, and it's just a great feeling. But a month down the road, maybe you hit a speed bump, you have a little fender bender, whatever. Over time, that car gets damaged and it needs to be repaired. And it's the same way with us in our life. We start off in a clean slate, but you know what? We have trials, we have traumas, we have pain, we have loss, we have divorce, we have financial issues, we have all these things, and all these things lead to mental health issues like anxiety and depression. And people are isolated right now and they're alone. So this is why the course was created, to tackle these kinds of things and to give people hope. So if you're out there and maybe you're struggling, if you're on, this is for you. We want people to feel loved and seen, heard, and validated.
So my wife, if you follow our ministry, know that she spends lots of time working with clients and helping people. And we're just so thankful for the ministry that she has had. And I'll tell you, for the price of less than one consultation with my wife, Heather, you can get this entire crash course. I mean, we're really trying to make this available. She is available, and you can reach out to her as well. And I'll ask Tim, he's behind the scenes working to throw Heather's email up, and you can see her email. Reach out to her. It's heatherrayconway@me.com. And it's RHEA is the way she spells her middle name. And you can reach out to her, and she's happy to talk to you about just the gut-brain axis and how just gut health can really help you to have good mental health and some of that as well. But here is the deal with this course. As you think about taking this crash course, how would we encourage you to do it? Do it in small groups if you can, or do it as a family. Like, let's say you're a mom and dad and you've got some kids. Look, Heather and I have been very clear. We're not coming at you like we're psychiatrists. We're not. We are people who got PhDs in mental health brokenness in our own life. Okay. So we know what it's like to struggle. Do you have a PhD in psychology? I've got a PhD in mental illness. All right. I mean, I know what it's like to be completely.
We're healing.
Yes.
It's a constant healing process.
And why are you laughing at me? I mean, I remember you're shaming me.
I mean, truth is the truth. No, it takes one.
Well, you're corrupt.
Takes one to know one.
You're just about as corrupt as me, if not more.
Hey,
so
I've never claimed that.
Hey, when we met at 5223 Nellbrook Avenue in North Little Rock, Arkansas, in January of 1995, it was mental unhealth meeting mental unhealth. I mean, like two heads of just mental necessity bumped into each other.
Speak for yourself.
And we went on a journey, and we've just been able to. I kind of slobbered on you right there, huh? I didn't have my lips. Yeah, I save that for later. How you heal mental health? Okay. No.
We digress. We're sorry.
I'm ADD, so you just got to roll with it. But here's the deal. Well, what were we talking about?
Just that you're a mess and that I'm a mess. No, but we were just saying to, take this course,
in groups.
Do it with your family.
Yes.
Do it,
there you go.
In a small group if you're meeting right now. or you can do it over Zoom with each other, and or you can do it personally too. I mean, it's designed to hit whatever level you are. But the key is, spread the word, get this out there, because this is our passion. And in this course, we're really helping you. If you're out there, or someone, and I get DMs all day, every day, talking about I'm hurting, I'm this, I'm that. If you're stuck, this is what we talk about in the course, and we help you get unstuck, because we get stuck in life and we hit these barriers. And when you're stuck and you don't have the breakthroughs, then the mental health issues keep going and going and going until you reach your what we call threshold capacity. We talk about that in the course, so I won't get too deep into it, but we can only take so much before we crash and burn. And we need to learn how to dig below the layers to heal for real. And that's what we talk about, because, stuckness is a roadblock to healing. And we walk you along the path of how to get unstuck in this course.
Yeah. And so one of the ways that you can get unstuck is you can take this course on your own individually. As I said, you can take it with your kids and you can dialogue about the discussion questions, or you can do it as a small group in your local church. And that's something that we really would encourage small groups to consider doing. Take this mental health crash course. It's designed for you to sit in small groups and talk about it, to remove the stereotype, to better understand where people are at on this journey, to give you a vernacular, a language, so to speak, as it relates to dealing with these mental health issues. So basically that's it in a nutshell. We just kind of wanted to jump on and encourage you. Is there anything else that you wanted to share before we see if there's any questions that we need to take?
I mean, I think just an overall, 360 view of what we're doing. In a nutshell, we kind of walk you through a formula, and it sounds so like rigid. I don't mean like do this formula and you're healed. There's no linear path here, but a formula in the sense of it's grace plus truth plus time. And we kind of walk you through those three things because in that order, because when you work that formula or that grid, it helps you unearth the things that are going on. And that's kind of the grid of it, the grace plus the truth, like who you are in Christ, which is why we named our church Image. What's your image? Who are you in Christ? The truth. Why are you where you are? What led you to this place? Trials, traumas, pain, loss. And then time. It takes time. Do you need boundaries? Do you need therapy? All of these things are included in this course at a very affordable price. And I talk about at the end just that holistic approach, because that's what I do. I'm a holistic health counselor, and I just kind of walk you through how, your physical health is so closely related to your mental health, and you really can't separate one from the other. So it's really about this holistic healing. Maybe your gut health's off track. That can lead to depression because your neurotransmitters are off. And I talk about supplements you can take and different things you can do. So that's the bird's eye view of what you're going to get in this course.
And some personal stories too. I think that we're really going to lay out, where we've struggled, because in all seriousness, it's been an area of interest where we've studied a lot, we've read a lot, and we see ourselves in this particular arena as translators, taking some of the work of neuroscientists and doctors and trying to put it in an approachable light, so to speak, so you can come toward it. And we have experienced much healing in our family. I mean, we're not kidding when we say that, we've known, very, very much wanting to exit the earth for a long time of dark depression. My wife, my kids, they saw me and I looked hollow. I was so depressed, anxiety. We get addiction. I've been on the antidepressants. Our kids have their own anxious dysfunction that they struggle with at times, where they're trying to figure out how to not be anxious all the time. And we're all growing as a family, and we're all open about this together. And that's why we want to be open about this. So we truly do feel like, we feel like we've experienced a lot of these struggles and we want to give back. The Bible says
Mhm.
God comforts us in our affliction so that we in turn can help others. And that's the motivation behind this. It's like, wow, if you're suffering, if you're struggling with kids that are suffering deeply, or if you're struggling in a marriage, or if you've just lost your zest for life and you just can't figure out what's going on, we just want to be able to come alongside of you and give you some hope. And we believe that hope can really be something helpful. And so that's what we want. You asked the question, Anna, which mental health conditions do you address in the course? And I would say we've done some different stuff on YouTube outside of this course. There's a playlist, I believe, that comes along with the mental health crash course of topics that Heather and I have encountered. We've talked about traumas. We've talked about anxiety, addiction, depression, suicide,
trauma,
ADD. Other issues that we want to hit in the future would be things like borderline personality disorder. That's something that a lot of people aren't all that familiar with. Bipolar, eating disorders. My wife would be really great with that as a trained nutritionist, talking about anorexia and bulimia and these types of things that can get really mentally in the way and sap someone of their well-being. So the purpose in this is we looked at some more of the practical implications that you could overlay on any of these particular disorders. Mm-hmm. So the formula, and again, I like how my bride shared that it's not like some, slam dunk formula. It was because it was the grace plus truth plus time. That was a formula, not that it's just airtight. But we believe that if you'll apply that approach to whatever issue is that you struggle with, that you can find some strength. And in particular, we're trying to knock down a lot of the stereotypes that have been erected in the church. It's crazy. I mean, you wouldn't think that that you're just because you're trying to help people with mental health. It's easy to get criticized in this arena. Like, people just want to keep it purely on people's sin. That's the solution. That's the only solution. Just deal with your sin. Deal with your sin. Deal with your sin. Mm. Well, I think there's plenty of people that they don't get the serotonin and the dopamine, that the happy hormones. The happy hormones. If your body doesn't produce a lot of that, you're going to struggle and be more prone to anxiety just on that level. And it's not that you're sinning because you lack those natural chemicals in your brain, but some would try to be overly reductionistic. And that's why we want to offer a little bit more complex, but hopefully more thorough and helpful approach to this.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think Jesus isn't here condemning you, right? He didn't come to condemn. He came to save. And I have such a passion that, we should be walking in freedom. And sometimes you need someone to walk you along that path, because where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. And we want people out there to have that freedom from mental health issues, things that you can do, practical, easy things that people can do to just relieve some of their anguish and their pain and their hurt. So that's really what has led us to do this course and to be a resource to the church in those ways.
And somebody asked how you go about ordering this particular course. Sandra, we appreciate your question. And Tim Hull will put up a link so that you can see what that looks like. And if you just type in that, it might be hard
can't really see
to see. Is there an easier way to see? Look at that. Boom.
So you can take it at 1minuteapologist.com/MHCC.
Which stands for Mental Health Crash Course. Look at that, in sync. See what happens when you've been married almost 25 years? Like, we can take the abbreviation and we can expand it for the peeps, right? We got it going on.
We're completing each other's sentences.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So, hey, check it out. The other deal is I love just seeing that we got some friends that are jumping on. I mean, someone from Holland, someone from the Netherlands, Marja. How cool is that? Like, we're just connected on a global level right now because of technology.
I dig it. So cool.
So do you have anything else, babe, that you want? And if you guys
No.
have anything else, feel free to put up a question. We'll kind of give a pregnant pause for like 30 seconds. And if you guys don't throw a question or two up, we are going to be peacing out in a moment here. Listening from Nova Scotia.
Oh, wow.
Well, hello there, Anna or Anna. I don't know if you would use the long or the short A pronunciation, but welcome. That's great.
Very cool. Love it.
I do too.
Yeah. Let us know where you're from.
So I would say feel free to jump on, sign up. We hope you can be a part of it. T-Hole, what's up, my man?
Sorry, I just jumped in here real quick. I want to maybe go through some of the practical at the end while we're waiting for a couple questions to show up. So,
Yes, let's do that.
So what will happen is if you go to the website, 1minuteapologist.com/MHCC, I'll go ahead and put that link here on the bottom of the screen while we're talking. You're going to go ahead, you can sign up there. You can go ahead and put your information in, put your credit card information, hit submit, and then it will take you to a page where you'll create a login. And so you can create your login, your username, and your password, and then it will take you to the actual course page. And then the course page, there's, I believe there's an introduction, which if you sign up right now, you'll be able to see the introduction. And then starting next week, we'll release the classes kind of maybe all on Monday or something like that. We're still trying to figure out. We were going to release them one a day for 6 days, but that might change. So if you go there right now, you'll get to see the first intro course, and then the rest of them will be kind of published early next week. And then you can go ahead and you can take them, you can watch them as long as you'd like. There'll be a study guide with each one of them that you can download and answer some of the questions digitally on your computer or on your phone or whatnot. And then you can also join. We have kind of just a large group for all the people that take our crash courses, and you can jump into one of those groups and kind of hang out, and every once in a while we'll do a video in there or we answer some questions or whatnot. So that's practically what it will look like, and then you'll be able to watch them again and again and again. And if we ever add more to that course, we'll go ahead and publish it in there, and you'll have access to that as well.
Yeah, thanks so much, Tim, for jumping in and joining us on the side third, coming in for the surprise visit, right? Coming in, hanging out.
Always.
All right.
Always.
And Sandra, hey, or Sandra, the lower, longer, the shorter, longer A from California. We're excited. We're going to be back there in a couple weeks, my home state. So stoked to be back out there. So anyhow, we thank you guys so much for jumping on with that.
Absolutely, guys. So excited about this. So spread the word, and we'll see you again soon.
That's right.